Daily Broadside to 809. George Lopez out here looking like a Hispanic Frederick Douglass. I'll tell you what, I think that we've lost a bit of common sense when we build these Napas and Advance Auto and auto zones on these parts stores. O'Reilly, right. Listen, why don't they have a covered, like, out jutting, if that makes any sense, over the front? They're always changing wipers and batteries and checking codes, things you don't want to do in the rain. Why don't any of those places have some kind of just enough for one parking space? Just cover it out, right? Like, care about your employees, Napa, O'Reilly, AutoZone, and Advanced Auto, and whoever. What's the Pep Boys? I think they do the same thing. I've never been to a Pep Boys. They got everything but gas. So yeah, let's start building an out jutting. A little carport that extends out over it. I don't know why no one at corporate has we should really care more about our employees being wet, but nobody does, you know what I'm saying? And that's okay too. Hey, if you've ever used, I don't know where you buy them. I came across some one time because a buddy had them and we had a blast at work that week, but the little poppers that you put in people's cigarettes, do it to somebody who really loves their smoking, right? That's like the most relaxing part of their hour is just lighting up, and then that thing goes off and you shove this little, I can remember, it's like a little thing, and you shove it down in there, and then they smoke, and you wait, and man, they get pissed, because it just explodes the whole cigarette, and they wasted them. I mean, they're like $1.25 now a piece, but for cigarettes, so you got that going for you. But it is quite funny. I find it odd, and I grew up with not necessarily the news on HBO, which had Rich Hall doing Sniglets. It's S-N-I-G-L-E-T-S. Not a word that you hear very often anymore, but it was prominent in the 80s. And it was basically words that were made up words for things that needed words. I find it odd that we have not come up with, we've got a name for everything else in this world, that we've not come up with any kind of name for someone who loses a child, like a widow version of a parent. You know what I mean? There's no word for that. What is that? That's like the most horrific thing that a person can experience, and there's not even a name put to it. Just grieving parent, It's more than grieving parent. Like, it should have a name assigned to it. And I'll tell you another thing. Last night I went down on a deep dive of some 70s R&B, and I discovered the Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy had all his bedroom ballads that he did, and one of them is called "Turn Off the Lights" or "Turn Off the Light." I can't remember, something like that, right? And I'm like, what is this? And I went through and I was looking at all the Teddy songs, and it's it's just the most brazenly sexual innuendo stuff ever. I don't know how you keep writing songs like that. I mean, if I told you write me a song about having fun in the bedroom, and I don't want it to copy anything that's already been done, okay? And I thought long and hard, and I don't see what I did there. I thought long and hard, and I couldn't figure out what I would write about. But Teddy did. Teddy wrote "Turn Off the Lights," and I went to the Googles, and I looked it up, and I read the lyrics, and without hearing the song, I just sang the lyrics in my head. I was just singing, "Come on in, turn the light." I was making up it. It is the dumbest song. And then when you listen to it, it's even worse. And I say that to say this. I think this was 1971. I could be wrong on that, but as I am on some things. But sometime in the 70s, he comes out with this. It went to number 48 on the top 40 charts. It went to number 2 on the R&B charts, which tells me that the people that listen to R&B in the 70s, y'all had a different perspective on what good music was, because that's a dumb song. And I'll tell you another thing about dogs farting. I've had this dog since May, and I told somebody yesterday, I'm like, I don't know how often dogs fart. I said, but I ain't heard this dog fart in whatever the 9 months I've had this dog, right? Well, I've been listening to a lot of Bill Evans, who I find to be probably the greatest pianist ever. He played with Miles Davis. Just a phenomenal, sad life story, but it reminds me a lot of Jerry Rafferty. The brilliance and the sadness of his death and all. But I love his piano playing, right? So I've been listening to a lot of jazz in the last few weeks while I sleep. And I woke up this morning at 4:40 something, and I was like, is that the dog fart? It was a trombone in Bill Evans' sextet. And I was like, still nothing. Y'all have a good one. Get it.